Welcome back to my channel, Soulmates. Today I'll be showing us the easiest way of making a party ball dress for kids. My name is Ajulam. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, you're welcome. Please subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you can stay updated on my upcoming videos. So let's get started. To make this party ball dress for a little girl, you're going to be needing the following fabric. You are going to be needing your satin or any other fabric of your choice. So I have my satin, the bridal satin, and a leftover here. This is a leftover fabric. It's not to 1 yard. So I'll be combining these two to create the look. And of course, you're going to be needing your net for the yoke side, your hard net if you want the dress to be fluffy, and of course your lining. All right, so we're going to start by adjusting the bodice pattern because of the yoke and the sleeve. So we're going to adjust it a bit. So the first thing to do is to decide where you want the yoke part to start or end. Now you can see I have my bodice pattern here, so you can decide where to use as the yoke or how many inches to use for the yoke side. For me, I will just go up by 1.5 inches from this armhole line because I don't want the chest area to be too transparent. So I'll just go up by 1.5 inches and then connect it straight. You can also decide to use half of the armhole curve. Okay, that point that you decided to mark to go in by 1/4 inch, you can just connect it straight, or you can just do what I am doing. I am using 1.5 yard, and this is the point here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect, and the yoke part is ready. It's very simple, so just connect it straight. So this part is going to be the yoke, and for this yoke I'll be using my net for this part, while this side is going to be the fabric. And then you can decide for the back side, you can decide where to place the yoke. You can decide to even curve it if you don't want it to be straight, but I'll just maintain it straight as it is. So for the back, I'll just go up by 1 inch from the same armhole line. Meanwhile, this dress is for a 3-year-old, so if you have a 3-year-old, you can decide to use the same measurement, except if you want to make this for a plus size 3-year-old. That is to say, your measurement and mine will be a little different if you want to make this for a plus size. Okay, so this is the back yoke. All right, so now I'm going to cut it out, but before that I'm going to explain a little on the sleeve. You can see that the sleeve is a cold shoulder one, so you're going to grab your basic sleeve pattern, which is what I have here. This is my basic sleeve pattern. So if you don't know how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, I'm going to drop the video also for you to check that out, to know how to draft a fitted basic sleeve pattern for a little girl. So this is my sleeve pattern. On this sleeve, we're going to decide where the cold shoulder should stand or start or end. Okay, so to get that, all I'm going to do, you can see the way I just folded my sleeve just to get the midpoint. Okay, now you can just place it as it is, because I want the cold shoulder to sit exactly on this yoke point here. Okay, so I'll just place my sleeve on it just to get that point on my sleeve also. You know, when you're joining your sleeve, it's still the same way. So I am placing it that just to get the point, and the point is right here. I just mark that here. I'm trying to use this method so that even if you're a beginner, you can easily create this beautiful dress. So this is where the point is. So I'll just connect it straight and cut. After cutting, I will now use my slash and spread method now to get my sleeve puffy. Okay, so we're going to slash it all the way down because I want both the up and the lower side to be very puffy. Now, before you use your slash and spread method on this, make sure to use your pattern as it is and cut out on the lining. Your lining should be plain like this. You're not going to be slashing the lining, so it should be plain like this. So this is what I have. This is what I'll be putting now. By the time we join it, this is where it's going to be. You can see. So like I said, I'm going to use the slash and spread method to get my sleeve puffy. So to do that, you can decide to just use the distance of 1 inch on each side, or 0.75 depending on what you have in mind, and then spread it out on the fabric and cut. This part is very easy. Alright, so I'll just quickly trace this out, cut on my fabric so we can start the sewing. So after doing this, we are going to determine the band that is going to sit on the front side. Now, to get the band, I'm just trying to explain everything at once before we start the sewing proper. To get the band, you can decide where you want your band to start on or end. And to do that, you're going to be using the side. This is the armhole line. So from this armhole line to the waist, you can decide where you want that to be. So all I'm going to do is to measure, check what I have from this armhole line to the waist, and then get the midpoint there. So this is 4.75. okay, so just get the midpoint, which is here. Now this is the midpoint. I hope you can see what I am doing. This is the midpoint. Now remember that this explanation is for the band that will sit on this front side. So now this is the midpoint. I'll just check what I have from the armhole to that midpoint. Now you can see it is almost 2.5. So I am going to multiply this 2.5 by 2 because I'll be pleating the band a little. So I'm going to multiply by 2, that is to say 5 inches. The height of my band should be 5 inches, while the width is going to be the front, whatever you have here on the measurements. This is 6. You know, this is just one piece, so if you add plus the other piece which is supposed to be in the front, this is 12. So the width of my band should be 12, while the height should be 5 inches. Okay, I'll come back to this later so you understand better. So I'll just quickly cut this out. Remember to always add your joining allowance anywhere you cut off as your for the yoke part. So let me just quickly cut this and then cut on our fabric so we can start the sewing proper. Alright, this is where we are after after joining the shoulders, you can see that my work is already looking so neat. All you need to do is to give it a very good press. So this is the lining. I did the same, just join the shoulders together. So at this point I am going to place the lining now, the front side facing each other like this, and I'll be sewing the neckline and some parts of the sleeve. Okay, so for the neckline I'm going to sew, and then I'll leave like 1 inch space here for my zipper allowance. I will not sew the neckline all the way down to this end, so I'll leave 1 inch, and I'll also do the same on this other side of the zipper. I'll leave 1 inch. Then on this armhole I am going to sew from the shoulder and then end it on this yoke point. Remember, that is where I want the cold shoulder sleeve to come in, so I'll just close it up and end it here, and I'll repeat the same on the back side, after which I'm going to give this a very good press. Now after doing this, now the next thing I'm going to do is to join the band that will be on this front side. So like I said earlier, you're going to decide how long or short you want the band to be, so you can decide to use half of whatever you have on this end. You can just take half of it. So for mine it is 2.5 inches. All right, so this is it, just to be sure. So this is 2.5 inches. So on that point I'm going to place my tape this other way, because this is how I am going to place the band. So I'll just place it this way to decide where I want the band to end. So for this I want it to be 10 inches, very close to the armhole area. I want it very close to that point. So what I have here from this end to this point is 10 inches, and then you're going to decide the height of the band, the one that will fall over to the skirt part. You're going to decide how long you want that to be as well. So I will just make it 11 inches. All right, this part will fall on the skirt part, so I'll just make it 11. So 11 plus 10 is 21 inches. So I'll be cutting out a width of 21 inches. Remember to add the joining allowance, and then for the height of this, you're going to be using whatever you have here now and multiply by 4. Reason being that we're going to be sewing this like a belt, so you need that extra fabric for both the joining allowance and then what we're going to be using to pleat. So whatever you decide to use, just multiply by 4. If you decide to use half of it, multiply by 4. If you want it to cover up all this space, you need to multiply by 4, so that by the time you give it a little pleat on this end, you have enough to cover it up to this end, and then the one that will fall over to the skirt part. So this is what I have here. This is going to be for the band. So all I'm going to do now is to close it. So I'll just close it this way and on this way, but on this other side I'm going to leave it open. We'll turn it inside out from this other side, and then I will give it a good press, after which I'm going to show us this is how it's going to be on this front side. After turning it, we're going to fold it, you know, just a little, and let it come over to this end, and this part will just fall like this. We'll use a little band just to hold it on this end. All right, this is going to be very lovely. So I'll just quickly stitch this and then show you how to cut the skirt part and also join it. But before that, I would like to remind us that we run our online classes every month. So if you're interested in any of them, kindly send me a WhatsApp message on the number that I'll be dropping in the description box for more details on the classes. So I'll just quickly do all these so we can finish up the dress. Here you can see that my band is ready, and this is how, remember I said we're going to be sewing it like a belt. This side is closed and this is open. This is going to be by the side, and this is what my sleeve looks like. You can see that it's already looking very nice. So the first thing I'm going to do is to open up. Remember that when I was joining the armhole area, I ended it here because this is where I want this to come in. That is the sleeve. So this is it. So all I need to do now is to place it there and then turn it over. You can see my lining is separate. Okay, you turn it over now and complete the sewing. All right, we're not going to sew it all the way down to the end. Then you're going to repeat the same for the back side. So that is what I'm going to do with the sleeve. So for the band, like I explained earlier, is very simple. All you need to do before closing the side, we're going to attach the band. You can decide to take either 1 or 2 pleats like this and then stitch it on that part. You can decide to take it like this. You can see that I ended it half on that center line. This is what I'm going to do, and take it to that upside. Okay, just maintain your plate. This side is very easy, just like that. And then I'm going to use a little very small band now to secure it on this end. You can see what I'm doing, so that this part will just fall over to the skirt part. You can decide to slant this area so that it will look like a belt, or you can also leave it as it is. On this end, I'll just use a little band just to hold it on that part. All right, so we're going to cut out the skirt. You can see that I have my satin laid out already. This is 2 yards, and I've folded it same way you fold when you want to make a full circle. You can see that this part is closed, see, and this side is open while this side is closed. You know, the same way you fold when you want to make a circle curtain. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is to mark out the length of the skirt. So for this, I'm just using what I have here. All right, if you want to make this for say 4 years and above, you're going to need 3 yards, and at some point you might even use half circle so that the length that you want to reach. So for this, I'm just using what I have here. So I'll just mark out the length of the skirt. So this is where it ends. I'm using 19 inches. Remember that this includes my sewing and hemming allowance. So this is 19 inches there. So I will mark the point. Okay, so this is where I mark the points. Then I'm going to place my tape now to check what I have on that point. This is 12, so I'll just keep on moving that 12 till I get to the other end. This part, you can just, you know, use your own creativity, because for this I'll just I'll be using the pleats, the flay pleat method. We're going to be pleating the skirt part, so I don't want to use the straight pleat. So I'm just cutting out a flay that I'll be using to create my pleats, so that at the end of the day the dress will really stand out well. All right, so this is what I have. I'll just cut this out and then complete the length of my skirt, and then give this a good press. Now remember that I'll be joining another fabric to this, but very little, which is, this is what I have for that. You can see that this is very little, just for a little fancy on that front side. I'll be placing this towards the dart area. So I have, the width that I have here is 29 inches by 19 inches, which is the length. So I'll just join it just to add a little beauty to the dress. So if you want, you can also skip this part, it's optional. So I'll go ahead and cut this out, cut out the remaining of the skirts, and then use the pleating method now. Plait and join it with this, and then I'm going to be joining it with the bodice, and we're almost done with the dress. Alright, this is where we are after sewing. You can see what I have here, a beautiful look. Now this is the way I attach my sleeve. If you turn it over to the wrong side, you can see how clean it is. So this is how you should attach your sleeve, so that you have a very clean work. So at this point, I'll just add my join the skirt part, and then for the lining I use my normal net for this. Okay, this is the color that I use. I just use it to create layers on my lining. I have a detailed video on how to make your ball dress fluffy without using hard net. In that video you get to see how to create your layers on the lining, so that your dress will come out very fluffy. So this is what I have here. So I'll go ahead and join the skirt part. This is what I have for the skirt. So I'll just go ahead and join the sides together this way. Remember to do that separately. So I'll just close it up and repeat the same on this other side before joining. Alright, this is the final look of the dress. As you can see, it's already looking so cute. This is what I have. Okay, all I need to do now is to attach the zipper, and then you can also add a little bow just to give it a beautiful look at the back. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in my next one.